Hello and welcome to the Woman to Warrior Show, which is the show for powerhouse women ready to step into their power and become the woman that they were always meant to be, not the person they were told to be. Now, my name's Holly Little, and I am your coach and guide in this show. And today, I want to go through with you why staying the same person is keeping you stuck in a life you do not want. So I'll say that again. Staying the same person is keeping you stuck in a life you do not want. The whole point of the work that I do with women is getting women to change their identity, to become a different person. And some may not like the sound of that, but I'm not here to change you. I'm here to help women become the best version of themselves. And if I was to ask you, in fact, I'll ask you, are you happy with where your life is? Right now, are you genuinely happy with where your life is in every area? If your answer is yes, not really sure why you're listening to this. And secondly, you are very rare if that is the case. Because most people, 99.999% of people, in fact, everyone I've spoken to, I'm just giving it a margin of error, is not happy with every area of their life. And this is where you have to change. Because the truth is, if your life isn't where you want it to be, then you have to change who you are. And the reason I say that is because if you were already the person who was capable of having the life that you really want, you would already have that life. And we wouldn't be having this conversation. But change is hard. Changing who you're being can be hard. But if you stay that same person, it's keeping you stuck in that life that you don't want, or you say you don't want. And honestly, it's why so many women stay stuck. They don't want to do the work. This work is not for everybody. This work is for the woman listening now who is done with it and just wants to move on and knows she's meant for more and can feel that power that she does have, and she doesn't quite know how to access it. She just needs someone to help her break through so that she can finally start living the life that she really wants. And that is all about stepping into your own power, because we are all powerful humans. So, you know, many women stay stuck. So they shrink instead of standing up. They think they're not good enough. They think they're not worth it. Or they're still acting like the person who's not worth it, which might be sitting on the couch when you know you should go to the gym. The woman who feels that she's worth it, she will put effort into her, physical health and appearance. Or, the woman who is staying stuck is putting on the TV instead of spending that extra half hour on something for her business or something for her own personal development. I mean, this really annoys me. I quite often give away free coaching, right? So I'm just going to have a little bit of a gripe here for a second. I often give away free coaching, and it just gobsmacks me how many women, when you start talking to them, do you want to change? Is your life not where it wants to be? All that sort of stuff. And they're agreeing with you and they know their life needs to change. Try and getting them to make time to do it, to make time that I'm offering them for free so that they can change and have the life they really want. My God, it is gobsmacking. Like, I just want to take these women and shake them and go, well, what are your priorities? If you can't find the time for this, get used to the life you've got, because it is not going to change in any other way. You have to be willing to do the work. Same as you have to be willing to be the sort of woman ready to have tough conversations. Same as you have to be willing to be that woman who is ready to be magnetic. If that's the woman who has success, then that's who you need to be, and there are no shortcuts to this. Trust me, I've tried. I've tried the shortcuts. It doesn't work. It just leads to the same life. But it requires practice every day, because every day the old you is going to want to come back, and she does, because that's the default. That's your programming. That's who you've learned how to become. And that when you first start doing the work, you are going to drop back into that old person. You just will. Until that new programming takes hold and supersedes your old program, you will default. But this is about not giving up and having someone such as myself, like a coach, in your corner, making sure that the new programming is being installed every day. And the women who come and work with me, they're actively striving to be someone else because they understand all of this. And this is what you need to do too. Right? You need to strive every day to become someone else, become the woman who is a match to the life that you want. Right? And the women who come to me, they're ready to commit to this. The women who just stick to the free webinars and resources, they default back without that one-to-one help. Now, not all of them, I might add, okay? Some women are so dedicated to their own growth that they will get there. Come hell or high water, no matter whether they've got help or not, they will get there. And I take my hat off to them because most women can't do it. Most women will default back to the old them after doing the webinars, after using the resources, after doing the meditations, mostly because they do all this sort of stuff for 5 minutes and expect it to change the rest of their lives. So they'll default to the woman who doesn't speak up in their relationship. They default to the woman who gives up because it's easier. You see, it doesn't have to be like that. You can consciously choose who you want to be. And here's the thing. Choose consciously who you want to be and then write it down. Write it down so it starts to take shape in your life. Who do you have to be to have the life that you want? And this is where this where this episode gets practical. You need to do this. Who do you have to be to have the life you want? Do you have to be fierce? Do you have to be assertive? Do you have to be calm, determined, dedicated? Do you have to be a leader? Do you have to be kind? Do you have to be empathetic? And then once you've worked out who you need to be, what traits you need to be, who that woman is that you need to be to have your life that you want, then what actions does she take? Someone asked me once, because this is all identity change, right? They said, give me an example of what a change in identity looks like. And I'm like, I actually struggled to answer that because I hadn't really thought about it before. It was, for me, it was just sort of like a feeling. It's an embodiment. And the reason why I struggle to answer is because identity is a concept. Okay, so identity isn't what you feel. It's the set of things you do without deciding to. So a changed identity looks like a different set of automatic behaviors. The person no longer has to talk themselves into the new thing because it's just who they are now. So a change in identity might be someone who used to be a smoker, now they're no longer a smoker. That's a change in identity. But the transition to that happens slowly. That transition to being the person who automatically did not smoke, that was a journey and it is a process. So the observable shift, the observable shift for a change in identity, apart from the smoker example, would perhaps be someone who used to over-explain and apologize in every email. Have you ever met someone like that? Or perhaps you used to be someone like that. Maybe you are someone like that. So sorry to bother you, just wondering if maybe, and that's how they write everything and that's how they talk everything. And now writes 3 clear sentences and hits send without rereading it 5 times. So instead of this, so sorry to bother you, just wondering if maybe, they're very clear and direct. They ask the question and then they move on. There is no apologizing for anything. So that is an example who's had an observable shift in part of their identity. And this is all parts of identity, right? So you don't just have one tiny shift and your whole world changes. It's all these identity shifts about who you are being that add up to one big identity shift. So the old identity might be, I have to earn the right to take up space. The new identity, maybe she doesn't audit herself, right? She doesn't have to earn the right to take up space. She knows she has the right to take up space. And then that translates into a change in her life. With relationships, the woman who used to be the default organizer, perhaps, the emotional manager, I used to be this, the smoother over of everyone's discomfort, because I didn't like discomfort. And then she stops. So she used to default organize, she used to emotionally manage, she used to be in charge of everyone's comfort or discomfort, and then she stopped. And it might not have been, very likely not with a dramatic announcement, I'm going to stop doing all of these things. But she just doesn't rush to fill the silence when something's unfair anymore. People around her feel the change before she says a word. It's a state of being. And the way to make it land is ask yourself this, not who do you want to become, because that's quite abstract, but what would you stop doing automatically, and what would you start doing without it costing you anything? So I'll say that again, because this comes after you've written down the traits that you want, the woman who you want to be, the badass woman that you want to be. Then ask yourself, what would you stop doing automatically? And what would you start doing without it costing you anything? Identity change is when the thing that used to take effort becomes our default, and the old default becomes someone unthinkable. It's like someone in a distance, someone you used to be. So you haven't changed identity when you're doing new behavior and fighting the old urge, is what I'm saying. You've changed identity when the old urge stops showing up, when it becomes a set of automatic behaviors. So for me, I used to be someone who liked to maintain control. And I did that to keep myself safe, make sure everyone else is okay. So it's a part of why I did so much for people. I felt that by me being in control of the situations, everything was going to be okay. So I remember as a kid, even when we'd go for walks, I would walk behind everybody. I would walk behind everybody to make sure everybody stayed together. And you can see how that behavior can get in the way of having a life that's just for me, a life that is my best life, if I'm so focused on controlling everybody else, which I was for so long. But through this work, I slowly learned to drop that behavior. And my identity then became the woman who's okay not knowing everything, because control is about having certainty. So I became the woman who's okay with uncertainty and not having to know everything that the future held. Would it be nice? Sure. But it was holding me back. So I had to stop that. And there will always be clues about if someone has changed their identity, because a woman's energy will change. And it's not necessarily something you can put your finger on, you know, the way you move, the way you look, your aura. So I really want you to sit with this, ladies. I really want you to take the time to work on who it is you're being. So as I said, go back, write down your traits, write down who you need to be to have the life you want. So I'm guessing you've got to be visible for many people. I had to be visible. I had to learn how to be visible. I certainly couldn't do this work if I didn't embrace being visible. So whatever it is for you in your life, who do you need to become? What is the trait that that woman has? And then, as I said, what would you stop doing automatically? And what would you start doing without it costing you anything? So I'm talking about small moves here to allow yourself to ease into a new role so your nervous system can feel safe with you doing it. Because if you try to make massive change, that's when a lot of women stop doing the work, because it starts to feel very unsafe. So what would you start doing without it costing you anything, or without it being too major of a shift? So you can build a bank of proof that you can do this, that you can become that new woman, and then take it from there. So I said you have some homework to do. And if you want to fast track your results, then you should join the Woman to Warrior program. Okay, this is a one-to-one 12-week program with me. It is by application only, but I will put the link in the description so that if you want to make a time to discuss that, please do so. I also have the Woman to Warrior Facebook group where I do put in free trainings. And as of the time of this recording, I'm really excited because I am right now recording a free Quantum Woman Rising course, and this is all about quantum and energy and frequency, which to become the woman to warrior, you have to understand because you can't just do all this personal development work and all this inner work and miss out on the energetic side of stuff as well, because that's where most people fail in trying to make these changes because they're only trying to do one section of the work. So, yeah, look out for that because I will be putting that course that I'm recording as a free course for only about 30 days within the Woman to Warrior Facebook group. So it is worth joining the group just for that because after those 30 days, it is going to become a paid course. Ladies, I hope you have a fantastic rest of the day. Remember, in everything you do, always live with fierce grace, and I'll see you in the next episode.